Hey, I'm Mark Shepard, HonestHypnosis.com. Today's Mind Mastery Daily is a book report. I don't know if you remember those from school, but I love reading. I love self-help books in particular. Books that someone has taken what worked for them and modeled it and put it down in a book. And I want to share this book. I'm only halfway through it, but this book is already perfectly working with my own success system, and it's called The One Thing: The Surprisingly Simple Truth Behind Extraordinary Results, with Gary Keller, by Gary Keller and Papasan. And this is one of them New York Times bestseller things. I didn't know that because I don't read the New York Times. I don't watch the news or read the news. But anyway, I like the graphics. I like how clean it is. It's all black on white with this little red thing. I love that stuff because I'm a student of catching people's attention as well. And what works? What is the key thing that enables someone to communicate brilliant ideas across different forms of media so that people's lives can be transformed? That's what I'm all about. So I'm reading this book. And essentially, the key thing in this book is questions, right? And I am a big proponent of asking empowered questions with the kinds of presuppositions in them that when you drop the question into your unconscious mind, it literally is the most powerful self-hypnosis on the planet, right? So this guy is talking about a question too. And his question is, what's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary, right? And I realized that that's what I've been doing lately. Even before I got this book, I was just like, every single thing, every time I complete a task or at the beginning of the day, what's the one thing I want to talk about in my video or blog post today? What's the one thing that I need to do next so that I can move my project, my program forward? What's the one thing I do that if I do that one thing, some of this other stuff falls into place? And I noticed that when I was working with a lot of clients last year, I would say, listen, what's the thing underneath the thing that you want to fix? What's the one thing that if we cleared that would clear all these other problems too? That's what I've always done in my therapeutic practice, is just like, okay, you've come to me with this problem. You do this, X, Y, or Z. You have this phobia, whatever. Like, here's an example. A guy came to me because he was afraid of climbing onto an airplane. He was afraid of flying. And he had to go someplace by plane. There was no question. And he had to do it. And so he came to me. But it turned out he wasn't really afraid of flying per se. He was afraid of dying. And he was imagining that he would end up dying on that plane. And so for me, it's just like, well, if we clear the fear of dying, would that actually clear all the other fears he had too? And boom, it did, right? So that was a situation where kind of intuitively I knew to ask that question. And today it's a warm day, so I'm sweating. So I'm not nervous in front of a camera, by the way. It's hot. There's a thunderstorm coming, so it's going to break soon. But so today it's a Saturday, and I've been literally kind of focusing in my mind on what's the one thing to do next. What's the one thing to do next? And it's just a wonderful piece because we are deluged all the time with too many decisions, too many things to do. There's, just in the entertainment world, you could listen to the radio, watch the TV, go to a movie, go to a concert, play a CD, play a video on your computer, read a book on 12 different platforms, right? There's so much distraction in our modern day that this literally is kind of a Zen thing, really. It's just like, what is the one thing? What is the one thing? Ah, little grasshopper, what is the one thing? So play with this today. Ask yourself, what's the one thing I need to be focusing on in order to get where I want to go faster, easier, better? What's the one thing that if I do that, will make everything else either easier or unnecessary? I love that. I love that question. So this is the book, The One Thing, The Surprisingly Simple Truth Behind Extraordinary Results. Gary Keller, J. Papasan, and I lost my place where I had the question. Here it is. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? I think that's a powerful question. He goes ahead to say, that you have to answer it, but my experience is when we drop powerful questions into our subconscious minds, into your unconscious mind, the answers begin to pop up. Your unconscious mind begins to go to work for you immediately, and the answers become available. So that's it for today. It's just a short one, but I'm thinking about you guys. I've been spending all day thinking about what do I want to say today? What's the one thing I want to say? And I want to really share this book with you, and I want to challenge you to get it. There'll be a link below this, and you can click on it. It'll take you right to Amazon, and I'll probably get 0.00003 cents if you buy it that way, or just go to Amazon, and you can get it right from them, or you know where to get it. It's just a book, right? You can get it instant. You could get this instantly, download it into your brain. Wouldn't that be cool? That'll happen sometime. You pay your $10, and literally the book is just literally downloaded into your brain. Wow. Anyway, why does it work out better than you can possibly imagine is my favorite question. And so I'm combining them. What's the one thing I need to do? And why is doing that one thing the thing that leads me to the greatest success of my life, to the greatest satisfaction, the greatest thrill, the greatest confidence, the greatest whatever it is you want? Ask yourself powerful why and how questions, and check out this book, The One. All right, that's it. Mark Shepard, HonestHypnosis.com.